Reanimator is one of the oldest archetypes in all of Magic, but in Modern it has seen almost no play throughout the entirety of the format. But with the printing of Emperor Bones and Malevolent Rumble, Reanimator is in the best spot it has ever been in. If you have not seen Emperor Bones, this is a 2-mana 2/2 that says at the beginning of combat on your turn, exile up to 1 target creature from a graveyard. And whenever you adapt this for 2 mana, you get to put a creature that's exiled from underneath this onto the battlefield with haste. It does get sacrificed on the instep, but that does not matter when you're putting Archon of Cruelty into play. This, in addition to Persist being a super powerful effect and Psychic Frog having some synergies with discarding big creatures, this might be the best Reanimator list I've seen in quite some time. So we're going to be taking this list to see if Emperor of Bones and Malevolent Rumble can bring Reanimator to the Modern format. Just a friendly reminder before the first match starts to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the play, and Start Hand looks pretty strong. We'll lead on turn 1 Verdant, Fetch Shock, and fire off a Thoughtseize. Okay, looks like opponents on the mono-black combo deck. And I mean, the card that makes the deck is 100% Necrodominant, so we gotta take that. Swamp for the opponent. I think their deck's so dependent on Necrodominance that I'm going to try and take the Profane Tutor, which we could find it. Yeah, our deck doesn't care about Fatal Push, play out Verdant, and we can just Surveil Hagar. And opponent plays out a Sorn. In step, we Surveil. Don't need a third Thoughtseize. Verdant off the top, play out a Malevolent Rumble, and we'll pick up a Psychic Frog. Then we will fetch out a Swamp, and we'll persist an Overlord now. And I think we'll pick up a Harvester here. Opponent plays out a land into an Emperor Bones, exiling a Psychic Frog. We'll persist off the top for us. We will go to combat, attack with our Overlord, pick up a Troll, fire off our Persist on the Archon we milled over. And we do find a land off the top. That's so good, because now we can just use our Harvester to take out their Emperor. Opponent plays out a Bogart Trawler, bombing our yard. Psychic Frog off the top, go to combat, attack in, and before we can even do that, they scoop it up. Let's get on to sideboarding. Our deck's so well set up that we're just going to submit the list. Game 2, Start Hand is a little weak, but we'll keep it. Opponent goes turn 1 Swamp into an Inquisition. Top took a land, we'll play that so we can just surveil the end stuff. They play out a tap land into another Inquisition, taking our Fatal Push. Oh, Thoughtseize on top, yep. Fire that off. And yep, take the Necrodominance. Then we'll play out a tap land. Opponent plays out a Shizo into an Emperor. Another land off the top for us. We'll play out our Shifting Woodlands and prototype out a Flesh Gorger. Opponent fires off an Inquisition. Then they exile our Fatal Push and attack in for 2. Wow, and they do pump the Emperor. Wow, Persist was such a good draw. We will cycle our Troll, pick up a Surveil land, persist our Troll, play out a Surveil land. Veilmark's great. Combat, attack in for 3. Land into a Fell of the Profane on our Troll. And opponent pops in for 4. Combat, attack in for 3. Shock land into a Veilmark, picking up a Harvester of Misery. No, okay, that's a good one. That's a really good one off the top. Okay, opponent goes with the risky line of drawing a bunch. They're down to 1. And it seems like March is unbugged. Opponent gains 12 and deals 12 to our Overlord. Okay, top deck a Fatal Push. Not terrible. And in our upkeep, they try and surgically extract our Overlord. So we will copy it. Play a land, go to combat, attack with the team. And I think we'll pick up our own Emperor. Wait, they only exiled 3 of our Overlords as well, which is kind of weird. And they do chump block with the Emperor. Opponent plays out a Sorn into an Emperor of Bones. And before they go to combat, we will push the Emperor. And opponent fires off a Soul Spike, taking out our Flesh Gorger. All right, I think we're just going to go for the win here, copying our Harvester. They could, have a Soul Spike here, but I'm just going to go for the win. Attacking for 5. They have a Force to Despair. Does nothing. And we take it down. What a great way to win. We're on the play, and Starting Hand looks pretty strong. We'll lead on turn 1 Bloodstained Mire and pass. Opponent goes turn 1 Besage You into an Amulet. So on the end step, we will find a Surveil land, and we'll bin our Surveil land. Top tuck another Persist. We will Fetch Shock and play out a Psychic Frog. Opponent goes Forest into an Explorer, into a Saga. Thoughtseize, great draw here. We will go to combat, attack in. And we draw a Troll, so we'll cycle our Troll, pick up a Watery Grave, fire off a Thoughtseize. I guess we have to take a Titan, play out a tapped land, and pass the opponent. Okay, opponent plays out a Crumbling Vestige into a Scape Shift, which they found off the top. Pretty good. Opponent gets 2 Lotus Fields, a Growth Chamber, and a T-West. They make a bunch of mana and then pick up their T-West, losing all their lands. Then they transmute the T-West. Then opponent casts a Summoner's Pack into an Aftermath Analyst. Then they can sack it, bring it back all their lands, and they can just keep looping this. So we will just scoop it up here and get on to sideboarding. We're going to bring in 2 Annihilate Spellbombs, 2 Dampening Spheres, and 3 Haywire Might for a Flesh Gorger, a Harvester of Miseries, and our Fatal Pushes. Game 2 Starting Hand looks really good. We have Dampening Sphere and Haywire Might here, so we'll lead on turn 1 Forest and hold up a Swamp Cycle. Opponent goes turn 1 Tapped Land. We will cycle. I actually think we just want to Surveil land here. Another land off the top. We will play Haywire Might and then Surveil land. And yeah, we'll bin us Haywire Might. Opponent goes Vesuva, copying our Forest. Persist off the top, not bad. We will play out an Emperor, play out a land, go to combat, exile our Troll, and attack in for 1. Opponent plays out an Explorer, and they play out a Gardens and an Urza's Cave. So in step, we will get another Surveil land. And before we fetch, they do dismember our Emperor of Bones. Land on the top. I actually think we do want that. We'll attack in for 1, shock in our Watery Grave, play out our Emperor, and then play out a Dampening Sphere. Opponent plays out a 6 and do a Crumbling Vestige. Okay, we find an Overlord of the Veilmark. It's pretty good. We will unpin that. Oh, that's pretty good here. We will definitely do this. picking up an Emperor. We will go to combat, and I'm pretty sure they have a Dismember. They tried casting it earlier, so we will not be exiling our Archon here. And yeah, opponent did have the Dismember, taking out our Emperor before we get to deal damage. Opponent goes to combat, attacking in. Oh my gosh, they find a Bojuka Bog. That's so good. Yep, and they do play out a Bojuka Bog, bombing our yard. Another Haywire Might for us. We will play out our Emperor, go to combat, exile their Primeval Titan, and before combat, we will adapt, getting a Primeval Titan of our own, trigger, and we're just going to get 2 Shifting Woodlands here, and attack in, and we'll pick up 2 fetch lands. And I think we should be good here, because next turn we can just cast our Archon, and on our end step, they force the Vigor. Yep, an opponent does play out a Primeval Titan. And it looks like opponent does not get anything to gain life, so this should be just GG's. Top to control, we will just fetch here, and then play out our Archon. And they're exactly 3 life, so this will make them lose 3, and yep, they scoop it up. Let's get on to game 3. And for game 3, we're bringing in a Disruptor Flute for a Haywire Might. Game 3, starting hand is a little slow, but I think it's reasonable enough. Turn 1 force for the opponent. Disruptor Flute, great pickup here. Have to play out our Surveilland, and we'll bin a Psychic Frog. We just need lands in this hand. Yeah, opponent plays out Vesuva, copying our Surveilland, and keeping a card on top. Land, great pickup. We will cycle our Troll, picking up an Overgrown Tomb. We will shock it in and fire off our Thoughtseize. Yeah, and we will just take the Primeval Titan here. Opponent plays out a land into a Splunking, and they put in a Simic Growth Chamber, and they return their Vesuva. Fetch land off the top. We're going to play out our Shifting Woodlands into an Emperor Bones. Go to combat, exile their Titan, and then after combat, play out a Haywire Might. Opponent plays out another Splunky, putting in a Forest into a Vesuva, copying our Surveilland again, binning it in the Amulet. And they do not take out our Emperor now. Interesting. So we'll play out our land, play out our Balemark, and we will use this ability, picking up a Psychic Frog. Go to combat, exile their Amulet, and attack it. Wow, another Splunking from the opponent, and they put in a Gruul Turf. I'm concerned with the way that they're playing this, that they top deck a Titan, so we're gonna fetch, put in a Swamp, and play our Disruptor Flute, naming Titan. Okay, opponent has Escape Shift instead. Oh, that's so good. Yeah, and at this point, this is just going to be infinite mana, because we know how they do this. They get the card that gets back all their lands from their graveyard, and they have more than enough to continue this loop. So sadly, we just got to scoop it up here and get on to the next match. We are on the draw, and starting hand looks pretty strong here. Opponent goes turn 1 tapped blue land, which is also a spell, so I believe this is Belcher that we're up against. Another land off the top, not bad. Another tapped land for the opponent, so we'll pick up a Swamp here, cycle our Troll, picking up a Tomb. I think we're going to go for an Overlord of the Balemark. We could go for the Troll game plan, but I think we need to attack their hand if we can, and we'll just pick up a Troll here. Opponent bolts on the land and plays out a War of Invention, picking up a Lotus Bloom. Fatal Push off the top for us. We are going to find a Surveilland, hopefully binning over an Archon accruably. I think that's our only way we could win the game. Psychic Frog, not it. We will impend another Overlord and pick up another Troll. Yep, an opponent just has land into Char Belcher, so we gotta scoop it up and get on the sideboarding. We're gonna take out our pushes, Bitter Triumphs, and Harvester of Miseries for Disruptor Flute, Haywire Mites, and Consign to Memory. Game 2, starting hand, I think is just a little too awkward. We're gonna mull, and this is much stronger. We will keep and bin a Shifting Woodlands. We'll lead on turn 1, Bloodstained Mire. Turn 1 tap land for the opponent. We'll pick up a Surveilland, and Persist seems pretty good here. Play out our Verdant, fetch shot, and I think the higher impact play here is actually just go for Malevolent Rumble. And this is exactly why we find out Archon, which we mill over, and which we can persist next turn. So we'll just pick up a Shifting Woodlands here. An opponent plays out a Thundertrap Trainer, picking up a Spell Snare. We top deck our Consign. We will play out our Persist on the Archon. That resolves. Awesome. Opponent bolts on the land, playing out a War, picking up a Lotus Bloom. Top deck a Swamp. We will cast a Malevolent Rumble, and we'll pick up an Overlord. And we will play out an Emperor, play out a Swamp, go to combat, exile our Troll, adapt our Emperor, and this should be lethal. So let's get on to game 3. Game 3, again, hand just, I think it's a little too awkward looking, and Consign to Memory doesn't do enough. We'll mull. Yeah, this looks much stronger. Opponent goes turn 1 tap land. We will join them, but our Surveils, and we will bin a Haywire Might. Another tap land for the opponent. We top deck a Shifting Woodlands. We will shock in our land and play out a Malevolent Rumble, and we will pick up an Overgrown Tomb. Opponent shocks in the land, playing out a Stock Up, and they have a 3 of a kind, which is kind of funny. And they suspend a Lotus Bloom. Emperor of Bones, it's pretty good. I think we are going to go for a Persist play here, though, and that just resolves discarding a Flare of Denial. And I think we just could play this game as safe as possible and play out our Haywire Might now. And opponent plays out an Unable to Scream. Creature creature loses all abilities. Interesting. Not sure what the plan with that is, because we can just Haywire Might that if we want. And I think we'll just do that. Land off the top, go to combat, attacking with our Archon. Opponent's down to 6. We will play out our Woodlands, play out a Malevolent Rumble, picking up a land, and then play out our Emperor of Bones. Opponent plays out a War, picking up a Lotus Bloom, and they say GG in the chat. So we'll just untap, go to combat, exile a Haywire Might, and attacking with the team. And we'll take them down. Let's get on to the next match. We are on the play, and starting hand just a little too land-like. Got a mull. Yeah, and our 6 is much stronger. We'll just spin an Overgrown Tomb here. Land go for us. Basic planes for the opponent. We'll Surveil. And yeah, Shifting Woodlands is actually pretty good. Land go. Opponent Opponent shocks into Sacred Foundry, playing out a Ragavan. And we'll just push the Ragavan. Thoughtseize off the top, not bad, but we will play out our Flesh Gorger here. Another Ragavan from the opponent. No land either. Overlord of the Bamrook, great draw here. We'll Thoughtseize the opponent. And in response, opponent does evoke out a Solitude, pitching a White Orchid Phantom. And in response, they do ephemerate their Solitude as well. Whoa, okay. Interesting looking deck here. Yeah, we'll just take out the Molten Rain here. And I think just fire off this Bitter Triumph now, pitching our Archon. No reason to wait. Are you kidding me? I guess this is the reason why. 3 Ragavans in the top 11. Okay. Well, I guess I made a mistake. And they exile an Archon. Thank you. We top deck a Verdant. We will impend our Overlord. And we pick up a Harvester of Miseries. Not bad. I'm going to attack them with their Solitude. And they play out a Suppression Field. So we will get a Survey Land in response. Never mind. We don't have a Survey Land. So we'll just get an Overgrown 2 instead. And they play out their Ragavan. Come on, land. Oh, that's not a land. So let's play out Malevolent Rumble. And we will 100% take the Emperor of Bones. We get a blocker, which is nice for this Ragavan. And then we also get an Emperor of Bones onto the battlefield. And we'll exile our Archon. When it goes to combat, attacks into the team. I think we're going to take the riskier line of just not blocking. Oh, bless up. They have a tapped land, which means they can't take out one of our lands, but that means we can actually adapt our Emperor of Bones and use our Archon. And not sure why they targeted their Sacred Foundry. That's questionable. Oh, we find a land anyways. Okay, so we don't have to sacrifice our Eldrazi spawn. Activate our Emperor because it costs 2 more because of Suppression Field. Archon enters, and that should just be GG's. Yep, they scoop it up, and we will get on to sideboarding. We're going to take out 2 Flesh Gorgers and a Bitter Triumph for 3 Awire Mites. Game 2, starting hand just needs a little too much help, so we'll. And our 6 is risky here. I think we're going to keep it, not be excited about it, and bin an Archon. All right, opponent has the nuts. Don't know if we're going to be able to beat this. We top deck a Psychic Frog. We'll go tap land. Hope they can't destroy our land. Opponent attacks in, exiling a Fatal Push. And they play out a Flagstones into a White Orchid Phantom. That's actually really annoying. Oh, they take out their own Flagstones. Okay, that's better. And they do pick up a Surveil Land as well, bidding a Mountain. Fatal Push off the top. Not bad, but we will take this time to resolve a Psychic Frog. Opponent has another Flagstones and looks like into a Solitude. Gonna be a tough game. Opponent crunches in for 4, taking a Verdant. Land off the top. Not even a good one, though. So this turn, I think we will just hold up Fatal Push by casting Malevolent Rumble. And we can only pick up an Emperor. And we'll just hold up the push on the Ragavan. Oh, okay. Avalanche Riders, yeah, we'll scoop it up there. There's no way we're winning this game, and we'll get on to game 3. Game 3 starting hand looks really strong. We'll keep. We will lead on Verdant Pass. Oh, that is the best start for us. We will get a Survey Land. Yeah, Thoughtseize is pretty good. While they think they're the land destruction deck, we are actually the land destruction deck. Shocking our Watery Grave, play out Haywire Might, and exile their land. Oh my lord. If we top deck a land, I think we're just going to go for double land drop destruction. No! So unfortunate. I think we're going to go for a little bit of a riskier play here, Malevolent Rumble. And yeah, we'll pick up the Haywire Might here. Use our Eldrazi spawn to cycle our Troll. Get an Overgrown Tomb, shock that in, and Thoughtseize the opponent. Yeah, and I don't think we care if they boom bust us here, so we will 100% take the Ragavan. And opponent does take out our blue source. Land off the top pretty good. I think we're just going to try and deny them resources, and then play out our land. And nothing from the opponent, so we will Surveil. Oh, baby. Bin the Archon, untap, draw, and cast a Persist on our Archon. And we find another land, which is a good draw. We will play it out, fetch, and play out our Overlord. And I think we're just going to pick up an Emperor of Bones here. Okay, and on the end step, they do have a Solitude. This should keep them in the game. Nothing from the opponent. We top deck a Fatal Push. We will play out our Emperor. Go to combat. Pick up their Avalanche Riders. No, Ephemerate. Ugh, unfortunate. So we're just going to cycle our Troll, picking up a Tomb, and play it out tapped. Our attacks in for 3. We top deck an Overlord. We will play that out. And we will just pick up a Psychic Frog. Land go from the opponent. Shifting Lowlands off the top. Play that out. Go to combat. Back in for 5. Pick up an Emperor. Then play out our Psychic Frog into an Emperor. And on an end step, they do flash Ophelia. Before they untap, we will just push the dog. And opponent scoops up there. Let's get on to the next match. We are on the play, and starting hand is just a little too awkward mana-wise, so we get a mole. And our 6 again is just a little too awkward. Don't have enough mana, so we get a mole. All right, deck hates us. I think we're going to go down to 4. All right, this is much stronger. Keep bottom, both pushes, and a Thoughtseize. Lead on Verdant, and pass the opponent. Opponent goes turn 1 Overgrown Tomb into a Gilded Goose. Instead, we find a Surveil Land. We will bin a Swamp. We find a Harvester of Misery. Not a bad pickup here. We'll take out their Goose now. Opponent plays a Plains into a Birthing Ritual. Top deck an Emperor of Bones. We'll play that out. Combat, we will take out a Goose. Opponent plays out a Samwise into a Cauldron Familiar. An opponent sacrifices a Cauldron for another Samwise. We'll go to combat. We'll try and exile their Cauldron. And they do bring back the Cauldron. We'll just fire off double Thoughtseize here. We'll take Young Wolf, and I guess we'll Thoughtseize again and just take out the Thoughtseize they have as well. Opponent has another Birthing Ritual. Uh-oh. An opponent gets a Sylvan Safekeeper and a Young Wolf. We top deck a Fatal Push. We will exile our Harvester of Misery. Then we will activate our Emperor Bones, get an adapt trigger, put in our Harvester, and they sacrifice 3 foods, pick picking up another Samwise, and they also bring back a cat before this trigger happens. Then we will attack him. Opponent plays out another Samwise, and they bring back a Cauldron. Then they play out their Boseiju, getting another Cauldron off of the first trigger Birthing Ritual, sacrificing their Cauldron. All right, and they finally do find the win con Carrion Feeder because this loops with Cauldron Familiar, so we will scoop it up and get on to the next game. We're going to take out 2 Flesh Scourgers, 4 Fatal Push, and a Bitter Triumph for 2 Spell Bombs, a Disruptor Flute, 3 Haywire Mites, and Unlicensed Hearse. Game 2 starting hand looks pretty fantastic. We're going to go for the risky play of Thoughtseizing ourselves into turn 2 Persist. Opponent also keeps, we will Thoughtseize ourselves, take our Archon, and hope they don't have a Graveyard Hate spell or Thoughtseize. An opponent goes turn 1 Cauldron, could care less. Top deck a Spellbomb, we will play out our land, fetch out a Forest, and play out a Persist. 2 mana Archon's pretty good. And we top deck another Persist. Wow. Opponent plays out a Birthing Ritual. We top deck another Persist. We will go to combat, attack in. Top deck a Swamp. We will play out our Overlord of the Balemark. And we'll pick up an Emperor of Bones, play out a Spellbomb, and hope the opponent doesn't have a way to kill us. And opponent just scoops it up. Let's get on to game 3. Game 3, starting hand is a little risky, but since this is a fetch land which finds a Surveyor land, I think it's good enough. Opponent goes turn 1 Force into a Young Wolf. We top deck a Persist and play out our land. Opponent shocks in a Godless Shrine, plays out a Cauldron, and they attack in for 1, so on the end step we will find a Surveyor land. Psychic Frog, not good enough. Please give us a land. All right, we are so lucky, and we don't really need a blue source here, so I'll just get a Swamp and then play out a Malevolent Rumble, and definitely pick up a Haywire Mite. Land for the opponent into a Cauldron, and they attack in for 2. Another land out the top. We're so good at this game. Play that out. We will sack the Eldrazi Spawn to play out our Persist, picking up an Archon. And they play out a Veil of Summer. That's fun. That does stop our Archon trigger from really doing much, but we can play out a Haywire Mite, and I feel pretty protected. All right, well, if they have a Samwise, we do lose. So they go sacrifice creature into a Surveyor land. Okay, nothing else. Huge. We find a land. I think we should win. We'll play out our Emperor of Bones, pick up our Harvester out of our yard, and attack him with our Archon. Come on, land. And no land, unfortunate. So they still have a chance here, except they sacrifice a creature shrine, and this is their last turn to do anything. Oh my lord, they found a cord. That's so unfortunate. Yep, and they can start looping this, and that should just be GG's. So we have to scoop it up sadly and get on to the next match. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I had a really good time playing this Reanimator list. It felt really powerful. I think the only card that I was a little bit on the fence about was Psychic Frog. We didn't get to play it much. I know it's a super powerful effect, and splashing the blue might be worth it, might be not. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.